Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
Back on the show, we've been holding on to a couple of these food-related stories now for a few shows, and they've been accumulating. And these are hilarious and horribly sad, I think is the right way to say it. Now, Lewis, down in Florida, there's Starbucks everywhere, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, around here too, but it's even more, I think, in that part, in South Florida, it's even more pervasive.
Mm-hmm. Everywhere.
There's a new size at Starbucks. It is called the Trenta. It's 7 ounces bigger than the Venti, so this is going to be 31 ounces. It's going to roll out, or it started in 14 states, and it'll be available everywhere by May 3rd. The drinks will cost, on average, 50 cents more than their Venti-sized iced drink counterparts. So coffee fans who customize their beverages with special milk, extra shots, syrup, could see a beverage topping $6. This thing offers more liquid than the average human stomach can hold. So this is a drink that is 916 milliliters. The average human stomach only holds 900. Makes sense? I guess. If you factor in the diuretic and laxative properties, this is one terrifying beverage. I would agree with that. McDonald's has 32-ounce tea drinks and no calorie limits. I guess the Starbucks ones have some kind of calorie limits. At McDonald's, there's no calorie limits. A small frap mocha contains 450 calories, and the large has nearly 700. What is the point of having a drink that can't fit into the average stomach? One deduction would be, well, this is just to have it the entire day, right? And then you drink it throughout the day. You can only go to God forbid, you can only make it to Starbucks one time during the day. You can have the drink on your desk and drink it over time, so you're never putting the full 916 milliliters at once in your stomach.
Right.
The other idea is the drink is targeted to people whose stomachs are already stretched and strained by obesity, so they have gone beyond the 900 milliliter capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And if we actually look, in some states now as a response to this are mandating you have to have a defibrillator ready and tested. It's like, you need to have the elevator guy come in and make sure the elevator's ready. You also need to have a working defibrillator at all times in these places because people will just be dropping in cardiac arrest. Seems perfectly reasonable to me.
When I was in Florida, my buddy Joe decided to make a quick Starbucks run.
Right.
And I said, yeah, have you heard about the Trenta? He's like, yeah, I can't wait. And I'm like, really? Well, what is it that you drink at Starbucks? And he's like, oh, well, I get the largest size with 3 shots of espresso and the rest filled with iced coffee.
Right, perfect.
And I said, Joe, if I drank that, I'd be in the hospital.
You'd be spending the night in the hospital, yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Now, if you look at the 14 states where they were piloting this, they are mostly in the South. And if we put up the obesity map, you'll actually see, if we look at the country, there are certain areas where obesity is much more prevalent. Every time I look at this map, I wonder which came first, chicken or the egg. Is there more fast food available in the South because people demand it because they eat in an unhealthy way? Is that caused by lower incomes also in those parts of the country, making fast food more attractive? What came first here? What we do know is there's more obesity, more 31-ounce Starbucks drinks, and more fast food in the Southeast United States. And you know what? Actually, when I went to Chicago, if you get out of Chicago, even just a little bit into the suburbs, it is a different story there, ladies and gentlemen. The fast food and chain restaurants just become the prevalent thing. You see much more obesity. It's kind of scary. There's also a lawsuit filed in beef over Taco Bell meat. In other words, the class action suit brought by a California woman doesn't ask for money. It says Taco Bell is using deceptive advertising. Seasoned ground beef or seasoned beef is the term they're using, and too much of their seasoned beef actually isn't beef. Water, oat products, wheat oats, soy lecithin, maltodextrin, an anti-dusting agent, autolyzed yeast extract, and modified cornstarch make up something like 65% of the beef at Taco Bell. This is no surprise, right?
No, I've heard that McDonald's and Burger King do something similar.
Just 35% of the taco filling was a solid, and just 15% was protein, says the attorney who is involved in this. Taco Bell claims to pride itself on serving high-quality Mexican-inspired food. Mexican-inspired food, not Mexican food. with great value. They're happy about the millions of customers they serve every week. I assume so. That's how they make their money. They deny their advertising is misleading. No surprise there either, because that would hurt their bottom line. The chicken and steak apparently are chicken and steak, but the ground beef isn't beef. And I guess internally they call it taco meat filling. They avoid the word beef internally. And I guess that term is only supposed to be used when there's 40% beef. It's okay to call it beef as long as you have 41% beef, and the rest can be whatever. If you go under 40%, though, you can no longer call it beef. I think Taco Bell will win if this actually gets to the Supreme Court, because let's be honest, the Republican Party, which is the party that exclusively represents the interests of big corporations and shareholders against the American people, has basically staffed the Supreme Court with right-wing judges. Not that this will make it to the Supreme Court, but if it did, I think it would be fantastic for Taco Bell.
I don't know. I don't think the press is fantastic for Taco Bell.